Alright guys, we're out here with the two smoker again, and I'm going to show you a few things that I'm doing here to make her look pretty sweet. So making a bike look new again, it's all in the details. So if you're going to sell a bike, you're trying to restore one, make it look fresh again, it's in the details. So one thing you can do to make the bike look a lot better is you can get new tubing for the carburetor, and I will show you what the old tubing looked like. I got new clamps on there as well. All new clear tubing, and the reason why this makes such a huge difference in the bike's appearance is because this is the old tubing. This dingy old yellow crusty black gross stuff, it's starting to dry out and stuff too. This is actually not too bad, but this makes a big difference in how fresh and new your bike looks if you're gonna try and restore it or if you're getting ready to sell it. So if we look at the bike here, this radiator cap, while it's new and high pressure, it was kind of corroded, so I buffed it out, and then I sprayed it matte black, or satin black I should say, and so that just has a lot like cleaner look sitting on top of this bright silver radiator. And then the hoses in here are all fresh and clean. Power valve hose, nice and clean. Another thing you can do to keep your bike looking really good is just wash the radiator hoses. These things are, get hot while you're riding, and the dirt just bakes on them. You can spray them down with like some WD-40 or something like that, and then just scrub them down. And that not having dingy hoses on your bike makes it look a lot cleaner. Here's the old hoses. Like, look at that dingy, nasty yellow stuff hanging in there. So this stuff's only like 45 cents a square foot. So grab the samples off your bike and go down to the hardware store and just match them up. If you don't have access to that or whatever, you can get kits on eBay. I don't know, probably $10. But you can see the difference in that nasty hose line and the new fresh stuff. Here's a quick shot of my brake pedal. This was galvanized originally from the factory, and it was just super rusty. So I cleaned it up and sprayed a real light dusting of black on it. It is gonna wear out, it will scratch off in a crash, but it's only gonna wear on the teeth on the top. I know you can get these things for like 10 bucks in aluminum on eBay, but this has a lot better teeth in it. And I've also got the Fastway foot pegs on here, and I went through, if I can get the light to go, and I actually touched up all the rust in the brackets with spray paint. And so once I get this thing all cleaned up, this is gonna look pretty damn good in there. Make sure that these pins right here are stainless. You can polish those out, and everything will look good. Another little detail that will make your bike look really good when you're selling it is to put fresh levers on it. Sorry, this camera's not focusing very well. So I bought brand new levers for this. The bolts in here don't get all corroded and stuff. Those, and if they're bent a little bit and the person just pulls them in and they have this like weird feel to the lever. If you think about it, the first point of contact that somebody's gonna make with your bike when selling it or sitting on it when it's been freshly restored is the levers and the grips. If your bike does not have brand new levers and grips on it when you go to sell it, I'm telling you right now, it makes a huge difference. The perceived value that the customer or buyer is getting when they grab onto that and they feel that fresh grip and that perfectly smooth, nice new lever, that is huge. It's just like going to the shop and you're feeling that brand new bike. So yeah, put fresh levers and grips on your bike if you're going to sell it, and obviously if you're going to restore it. So here's another little detail of something that you should kind of look out for when you buy a used bike. If I had bought this bike and then just took it out and just rode the piss out of it, that wouldn't have been a good idea. I have a little bit too much skills and I ride a little bit too wide open. If you look at this bike, if I can get this to focus, this air boot is, it's 11 years old, and it sits in ultraviolet light a lot. You can see that it's starting to crack, It's not all the way through yet, but if this bike had developed an air leak and I went out and was holding it wide open, it very easily could have blown up. So I got this piece. It was like $27. It's a V-Force reed block. This is factory or original equipment on KTM's, but this rubber outside boot is 27 bucks. $27 is a lot cheaper than blowing your bike up. This is gonna be a little bit harder for you guys to see with the lighting, but even though this bike doesn't really have very many hours on it, it's probably only about 80 hours. The ultraviolet light and stuff and just age is deteriorating this shock bumper. You can see it crumbling underneath my finger. So I'm sending off this shock. I'm gonna package it up today and send it out tomorrow, and it's gonna get a revalve and a rebuild. If you look at things like this shock collar, where somebody just beat the shit out of this thing. Sorry about the focus. That's just not cool. So KTM, if you don't know, has an Allen screw. Sorry about the focus there. An Allen screw right there that you loosen up before you start pounding on the shock collar. And what somebody probably did is they were probably trying to adjust the preload while the bike was not on a stand. When the bike is under load, like if it's not on a stand with the wheels suspended, these collars don't turn very well. So they just beat the shit out of the collar, and kind of I guess the bolt's not stripped out, but it doesn't look very good. So this shock, PDS, KTM PDS, is going out today, and it's gonna get a rebuild by a pro. My friend at Evo Suspension, thanks Dan, he's awesome, killer rider himself. And you can see down here that the bottom shock bearing, or Heim joint as KTM calls them, somebody zerked this. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool for a trail bike, but I'm gonna replace that. I'm gonna put it back to the original bolt for motocross. And I'm getting a spring that isn't all faded out. Dan's gonna get me a takeoff spring from somebody else's bike. And here's another thing on the KTMs is the Heim joints do go out. They aren't linkage bikes, but this top bearing goes out, and maybe you can hear that in the video, but there's some slop in that Heim joint. It's about I don't know, I think it's about 28 bucks. You can get them from All Balls or something. And so that's going to get replaced as well. So the coolest part is I'm getting one of the factory KTM collars for this. That's I think it might be contracted through X-Rig, and what it is it just allows you to adjust the preload on the shock, kind of like an adventure bike with an 8mm screw. So you can just throw it up on the stand between motos or whatever and adjust your sag, which is an 8mm wrench. Super cool. So that's all I've got going on the 250 today that I can show you. I did get the new seat cover and a lot of the new plastics and graphics in, but I'm still waiting on the rear fender and a few other things like that I'm not gonna do the graphics on until I have all that together, just so I can make sure that the alignment of my numbers and all that stuff is legit with the fender and the side panel. But I might show you guys the seat cover install. It's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm not really set up for recording stuff that I'm working on, so I'm trying to fill you guys in as I go, but I don't have a lot of time. I work every day, so I just get this stuff done before I go to work, and trying to keep you guys in the project. I'm at a little bit of a standstill right now because I got so much stuff on order. Funny, I'm probably gonna have almost $4,000 into this used 250, but and it's not worth that. Book's only 28 on it. But if I bought another used bike, a nicer one, a newer one, I still would have had to throw a lot of stuff at it, and I would have still been into it the same amount of money. So I know everything that I've got in this bike now because I've gone all the way through it, and I'll probably ride it a couple times. I looked at the piston through the exhaust port, and it looks to be in decent condition. I was told it was replaced at 60 hours. So I'm guessing it maybe has about 80 hours on it now. Nobody rode it hard, but you never know. You don't know what fuel mix they're running, how clean the air filter was, and all that stuff. So I'll probably maybe ride it a couple times, make sure it's running good, and then I'll rebuild the top end too. So if I do that, I'll try and record that stuff for you guys as well. But having a ton of fun. I'm excited about this bike. It's really hard for me to be patient. It's funny, I'm a really patient guy, but I like to get everything done at once. It's my kind of ADHD personality. I just attack things and I go in full bore. And a project like this, where it's spread out over the course of like 5 weeks or something, has kind of been killing me. But it's good because it's teaching me patience. Got to put new tires and stuff on it still. Not that the tires on it are really bad, but I'm going to swap them out with some other ones that I have, and then I'll use these tires. I'm actually going to horse trade a friend for a couple of other different tires. So anyway, I'll let you guys go. Catch you in the next video, and see you later.